Would you like to practice some question types that might be on your elementary ed math certification exam, like the FTCE, Praxis, TExES, or any other K through 6 certification exam? My name is Amy Sink, and I'm here to help you with those question types. Before we begin, like, comment, and subscribe to the Learning Liaisons channel, and we'll get started here. All right, let's get going. A couple of directions so that you can be successful during this video. I'm going to give you 60 seconds to answer each of the following questions. There will be a timer on the screen. Once the 60 seconds is up, I will go over each question for you. If you want to download a PDF copy of these questions, text the phrase capital YTMATHSET1, YT Math Set 1, to this phone number on the screen, 407-269-8829. Let's do this. Question 1. Which of the following is a factor of 252? A, 22, B, 27, C, 37, D, 42. All right, let's find out how to solve this problem. First, we have to know what a factor is. A factor of a number is a number that multiplies to another number to equal your main number. So a factor of 252 would be a number times another number equals 252. So to figure this out, we can just take all of our answer choices and divide them by 252. And if we get an even answer with no remainders, we've found our answer. So let's do 252 divided by 22. 22 can't go into the number 2, but 22 can go into the number 25 one time. 22 times 1 is 22. Subtract the difference. I'm going to pull down my 2. 22 can go into the number 32 one time, but I can already see that I'm going to have a remainder. It's not going to divide evenly. So I know that's not my answer because it's not an even factor of 22. Let's do the next one. I'm going to change pen colors here so we can see the difference. 252 divided by 27. 27 can't go into the number 2. It can't even go into the number 25. So now I have to think 27 times what is 252? I'm going to probably start with a number that's a little higher because it was really close to getting into the number 25. So let's try the number 9. 63, 18, 24. There's a remainder. It's not our answer. Let's go to the next one. 252 divided by 37. 37 can't go into 25. 37 can't, well, it might go into 252. And I'm going to do 9 again because I already know that I already know that I can use the number 9 because I used it for the number 27. So 9 times 7 is 63. 27, 33. Nope, that didn't work. I'm going to use the number 8 instead. Sometimes you have to do a little bit of guessing and checking. So 37 divided by 8. No, we're going to do 7 because that was way too big. 21. Nope, we're going to have to do 6. Sometimes this is what happens if you don't have a calculator. Got to do it with your head. 6, 42, 18, 22. I have a remainder of 30. Still not my answer. So already I know that these three aren't my answer, that D is my answer. But I'm going to check it just to make sure, because I could have made a mistake in the other examples. So 252 divided by 42, I'm going to use the number 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 1 is 25. I chose the number 6 because I know that 6 times 4 is 24, and that's really close to 25. So 252 minus 252 is 0. So I know that my answer is D. Excellent job. Let's move on to the next question. All right, let's check out question number 2. What is the value of negative x squared plus 5x minus 10 when x equals negative 2? A, negative 24. B, negative 16. C, negative 4. Or D, 4. I'm going to give you 60 seconds to try this problem. All right, let's check out how we can solve this problem. So I'm going to look at my equation and what they gave me. They gave me x equals negative 2. That means x is negative 2. So I'm just going to plug negative 2 into my equation and solve it. So I'm going to take negative 2 and plug it in anywhere there's an x. So I have negative 2, because this negative is by itself. It doesn't count with this negative in the x that they gave us. So there's 2 negatives. Squared plus 5 times negative 2 minus 10. So let's solve it. Squared means I'm going to do that number times itself. So I'm going to leave this negative out here because it's not part of the squared. Negative 2 times negative 2 equals 4, because a negative times a negative is a positive. So I have negative 4 plus 5 times negative 2. I know 5 times 2 is 10, and a negative times a positive is a negative. So I'm going to do a negative 10 here minus another 10 because that was part of the original problem. Negative 4 plus negative 10 minus 10. Now I'm just going to go from left to right and solve it. Negative 4 plus negative 10 is negative 14 minus 10. Negative 14 minus 10 equals negative 24. So I know my answer is A by plugging my value of x into my equation and solving. A very common error for this kind of problem is for people to assume that that negative sign is part of the x already. So a common error is people will go negative 2 squared because they don't realize that this negative is not part of this negative. Don't make that mistake, because when you solve it that way, you'll end up getting negative 16 as your answer instead of negative 24, when in fact, that's not the right answer. So negative 24 is our answer. Great job. Let's move on to our next question. Triangle ABC is shown in the graph below, where point A has the coordinate negative 2, 3, point B has the coordinate negative 2, 1, and point C has the coordinate negative 4, 1. Triangle A prime, B prime, C prime is created by reflecting triangle ABC about the y-axis. Triangle A double prime, B double prime, C double prime is created by reflecting triangle A prime, B prime, C prime about the x-axis. Which of the following gives the coordinates of B prime, double prime? A, 1 comma negative 2. B, 2 comma negative 1. C, negative 1 comma negative 2. Or D, negative 2, 1. Go ahead and solve it. All right. When we read this problem, it sounds super cumbersome. Double primes, primes, what do we even mean here? All they're saying is we have triangle ABC and then we do something to it, and then we have a new triangle, and then we do something else to it, and then we have a new triangle. That's all they're saying with primes and double primes. It's a way to label the triangle. So let's not get confused by that. So they've already drawn triangle ABC for us. And I'm actually going to label A, B, and C so that when we start to flip this triangle around, we can see where we're going. So it says A has the coordinate negative 2, 3. So over negative 2, up 1, 2, 3. That's triangle A. Or point A, sorry, not triangle A. Then point B has the coordinate negative 2, negative 1. No, negative 2, 1. So over negative 2, up 1. That's point B. Point C has the coordinate negative 4, 1. So we're going to go over negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, up 1. And that's point C. Now that I've labeled my triangle, I'm going to go ahead and figure out what they want us to do with this triangle. So it says we're going to reflect it across the y-axis. Well, I know my x-axis is going horizontal. My y-axis is going vertical. And if you didn't remember that, they gave you a little cheat right here and right here. They told you that the x-axis was this way and the y-axis was this way. So I'm going to flip this triangle or reflect it across the y-axis. So that means that this dot A is going to flip over right here because it's going to be equally spaced on each side. That's what a reflection is. So it's 2 spaces over from the y-axis on this side. It's going to be 2 spaces over on the y-axis over here. And then I'm going to flip B over, 1, 2 over here, 1, 2 over here, and then I'm going to flip C over, 1, 2, 3, 4 over here, 1, 2, 3, 4 over here. So I've got my first A prime, B prime, C prime. Just my first new triangle. That's all it is. Right here. And let's label it with the same colors so that we can see where all of our points are. So we've got A up here, we've got B down here, and we've got C over here. Then it tells us that we need to flip this triangle again. It says we're going to flip it across the x-axis. Again, x is going horizontal, y is going vertical, and it's also labeled for you right here. So I'm going to flip this triangle down now. So I'm going to take this B point, and it's 1 space away, so I'm going to go 1 space away. I don't even need to flip the rest of my triangle because I just remembered they only want B double prime. They don't even want the rest of the triangle. So I'm going to look and see what point is that. I'm going to go over 2 in the positive direction, down 1 in the negative direction. Over 2, negative 1. So my answer is B. Excellent job. Let's try our next question. Mrs. Brown is a 4th grade teacher and creates the word problem below for your lesson of the day. Based on the word problem below, the lesson will most likely cover which of the following mathematics concepts? Here's the word problem. Pop's Donut Shop sells donuts in boxes of 12 and donut holes in packages of 20. The shop sold the same number of donuts and donut holes yesterday. What is the minimum number of donuts that the bakery could have sold? A, least common factor. B, greatest common factor. C, least common multiple. D, greatest common multiple. Go ahead and try it. All right, let's find out how to solve this problem. We know that we're trying to figure out what this word problem is going to be about. Like, what's my lesson going to be about if I'm using this word problem in my lesson? So I know that they're selling boxes of 12 donuts and packages of 20 donut holes. When I look at my answers, there's only 2 answers in this answer set that are mathematic concepts. Least common factor is not a mathematics concept. So I already know that's not the answer. Greatest common factor is a concept. So I'm going to keep that. Least common multiple, that's something that we've heard of, and that's something that you can do in math. Greatest common multiple, that's not something that we use in math, so we're not going to use that either. So I've already eliminated 2 choices because I know that GCF and LCM, greatest common factor and least common multiple, are the only mathematics concepts that we're using. We're not using least common factor or greatest common multiple. So now I'm going to look at my problem. The question tells me, what is the minimum number? Minimum means smallest. So if I don't know what greatest common factor or least common multiple even mean, I know that least means minimum or smallest. So right there, I've already chosen my answer of C because I don't want the maximum number of donuts. I want the minimum number of donuts. I also know that least common multiple means what's the least common number between 12 and 20 that has a multiple that gives me a bigger number. Greatest common factor would be numbers that multiply to give me 12 and 20. But least common multiple is a multiple of 12 and a multiple of 20. So 12, 24, 36, or 20, 40, 60. And then I can figure out how many donuts the bakery sold. Excellent job. Question number 5. Students randomly draw a whole number, 1 through 10, from a bag, and afterwards replace the number into the bag. Each of the last 4 students drew an odd number. What is the probability that the next student draws an odd number? A, 1/6. B, 1/3. C, 1/2. D, 5/6. You have 60 seconds to try this problem. probability. Let's find out how to solve this problem. So, I know that I'm looking for the probability that the next student draws an odd number. And with probability, if we're representing it in fraction form like they did here, I'm going to have my total on the bottom, and I'm going to have the number of chances on the top. So in this case, because they are replacing the number back into the bag, this right here is extraneous information. We don't need that information because all of those students are taking their numbers and they're putting it back in the bag. They're not holding on to it. So every student has the same probability of pulling an odd number. So an odd number between 1 and 10. 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Those are my only odd numbers between 1 and 10. So I have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chances of pulling an odd number. And the number of numbers available in that bag, well, they told us there's 1 through 10. So there's 10 numbers in the bag. But 5 out of 10 is not an answer choice here. But I do know that 5 over 10 is the same as 1/2 because I know I can divide both of these by a value of 5 over 5 because 5 over 5 is 1 and any number divided by 1 is itself. So if I divide 5/10 by a value of 1, I have the same number. So 5 divided by 5 is 1, 10 divided by 5 is 2. So I have 1/2 is my answer. Nice job. I really enjoyed going through those questions with you. Passing your certification is all about 3 things: knowledge, skill, and attitude. Knowledge is knowing about your test, knowing how many questions there are, how much time you have, what resources you have. Do you have a calculator? Do you not have a calculator? What percentage of skills are on the tests? Skill, having proven test-taking strategies for success. Knowing how to analyze these questions is important, and building your confidence in that skill is really important too, which leads us right into attitude. Building your confidence through targeted practice from reliable resources, such as the Learning Liaison YouTube channel. For more information on how to clear up testing confusion and pass your exam on the first attempt, visit us at thelearningliaisons.com. Thanks for joining us, and I hope that you join us for more math videos soon. Always remember, it's when you pass, not if you pass.